Hey guys, it's Kevin again, and this is going to be my review for American Horror Story Freak Show Episode 2, Massacres and Matinees. And this episode was amazing. I loved it. I thought this episode was actually better than the first one. This show is perfect. Perfect. Literally, it can't do anything wrong. I have no problems with the show whatsoever. Not a single problem. And everything about this episode was just as amazing as the first one. I thought this episode was just as amazing. I loved it. I love everything that's going on in it. I love all the tension that's going on. And just the story is great. Everything about the show is just screams greatness. It's absolutely fantastic. And that's really what I love about the show, is how good it is and how good the quality of the show is. And this episode was just amazing, and I loved it. And let's just get to it, because I really want to talk about it. So, I really like the way it starts. We see all the freaks working in the circus, and Jimmy and the others are listening to the radio. The program is talking about the recent murder that went down, and Jimmy has the others dealt with the body. Now, of course, he's talking about that detective that they killed. They killed that detective, and now they're starting to find out about it. So two detectives show up and ask about the murder. And they're questioning Elsa about it, but Elsa denies it. She doesn't think that her freaks are, she doesn't think that her as she calls them, monsters, are monstrous at all. She doesn't think that they do something like that. She doesn't think that they, she thinks that they're basically angels. That's what she thinks of them as. Hold on one second, guys. I'm going to turn on my fan. It's hot in here. But yeah, she basically thinks of them as basically angels. That's what she thinks of them as. She doesn't really think of them as anything but that. So I thought that was definitely very interesting. So basically, the detectives, just to be sure, decide to put a curfew put in place. They can't perform at night, which is really bad for them because that's when they do their shows. So basically, they can't do their shows now, which was, I thought, really set up things very, very well, in my opinion. So that was really awesome. Really great way to start the episode. Already loved it. So then we see a man go into a toy store to look for a man by the name of Mr. Henley, who is this small robot, and this small robot toy comes waltzing out from behind a shelf, and it's trailing blood. And the man goes to investigate, and we see Twisty there. Now, I gotta admit, Twisty was more creepy in this episode, and there's a reason why. Not only because he was creepy, but because they actually got us to sympathize with him. I'm gonna talk about how. But Twisty is hiding in plain sight. He's right there. It's about to get really intense. And he disguises himself as a mannequin next to other clown dolls, and this guy sees the blood trail, he follows the blood trail, and then he stabs him right in the throat with a knife from behind. That was crazy. That was insane. I mean, I'm like, oh my god, this episode's already so good, and I was so into it. It was scary. That scene was scary, and honestly, guys, I challenge you guys to watch the show with the lights off. I did it. I did it because I want to see if it makes the show scarier. It does. It does, and I love that about the show. I love that the show this season is scary, because last year it wasn't that scary. This season, though, it is pretty scary, and I definitely really like that. So, I thought that was definitely a very good way to start the episode. So the freaks are having dinner in the banquet tent, and Jimmy's snapping. He's having trouble coping after killing that detective. He's kind of having trouble after that. And I thought that was definitely very interesting what happened there. And then we get a very interesting scene with Dandy and Gloria. Now, after last week's episode, all I thought of Dandy and Gloria were they were two very rich, spoiled people. But we find in this episode that's actually not the case, because Danny's having dinner with Gloria, and he begins throwing a fit. And we actually find out that Dandy, and I really love this twist. I thought this was a really good twist, and honestly, one of the things American Horror Story does best are the twists, the way they get you to actually feel for each and every one of the characters. Dandy is actually not as much of a dick as we thought he is. He is tired of boredom. Now, he's not tired of boredom just because he's tired of boredom. He's tired because he doesn't want this life. He wants to be a performer, and he wants to be a thespian, basically, but his mom doesn't want him to be that. And the family's maid thinks that Danny might have had something to do with the murders around town. And I thought that was just a really good twist. It really got me to sympathize with his character more. I liked his character more. I appreciate his character more. Definitely an awesome twist in my opinion. I love that. And just, wow, great writing there. Really fantastic writing. So, I gotta say, because, I really thought Dandy was gonna be a character that we were not supposed to like. But after this episode, Danny is basically just a man-child. Now, the reason he's a man-child, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, I honestly feel Danny is a closeted homosexual. And the reason I say that is because in the 1950s, that was considered not a good thing. That was considered as something bad. That was considered something uncommon. So that's what I feel Danny is, because Danny shows a lot of, I mean, not really, I don't want to say symptoms because I'm in no way trying to sound homophobic, because I am in no way a homophobe. Again, I've said this before, you are what you are, and especially knowing that Ryan Murphy likes to write gay characters, I definitely feel like his character could be, homosexual. I definitely feel like that's a possibility, in my opinion. That's just what I feel. But the freak show then gets two new visitors. We find two new characters. We met two new characters in this episode. Because as I said, there are three freaks. There are two freaks we didn't meet yet, and we get to meet them in this episode. And I was very happy we met them because I love these characters. Desiree, who is played by Angela Bassett, who I like this character more than Marie. I'm gonna say right now, I think Marie was an okay character, but Desiree, I love her character. She is a three-breasted hermaphrodite. Okay, and her partner is Del Toledo. Now, Ethel used to know Del Toledo back in the day, and there's an interesting twist with him, which I'll get to, but Del Toledo um, was one of Ethel's past lovers. That's all we know at this point. Del Toledo is the self-proclaimed strongman, and they're looking for work. And, Desiree, I love how she just starts the, her first line is just, please tell me this is a rest stop. I thought that was really funny. Um, so Elsa asks to see Del's hands, and she determines that he's a man who knows hard work. And we actually find out something interesting here, which I thought was definitely a very well done scene, in my opinion. I thought this was definitely really cool. We find out that Del is actually, and I thought this was really cool, in my opinion. Del is, not only is he a strong man, like, actually, talking about Del, we found something really cool about Desiree. Desiree had this guy that was having sex with her, basically. And Del ended up, like, decapitating this guy, and that's why they're there, because, they got kicked out of that show. So Del is a very popular celebrity who he's kind of, I don't want to say conceited, but he knows how to put on a show. Like, I definitely like that about his character. They knows how to put on a show, and I really like that. So Elsa determines he's a man who knows hard work, and he asks if he barks, and he responds, hell, I could howl if you wanted me to, and I thought that was funny. And it seemed as if she's welcomed her new freaks into her family. So I thought that was definitely very well done. I really enjoyed that. So then we see Gloria driving down the road, and oh my god, Gloria. Gloria is an idiot. I'm gonna be honest. Gloria is a spoiled rich idiot, and all she cares about is money. That's all she cares about. She basically sees Twisty walking on the side of the road solemnly. She does not see. Now, this was interesting. This whole episode, Twisty does not look happy. He looks kind of upset, even. Like, when he killed that guy, he seemed like he was bored. And my friend came up with a theory. I did not come up with this theory, but Kane LaPlante, aka Kid of Awesome, came up with this theory. And he basically said that maybe Twisty is tired of killing people. Maybe he just has done it for so long and now he's tired of doing it. I think that definitely is very interesting. And I don't know, we'll have to see what happens, but I thought that was definitely very interesting that he looked very, like, very solemn, very upset even. He didn't look happy. So, she asks if he does private parties for children and propositions him to cheer up her son Dandy, who's been a bit down in the dumps lately, of course. But of course, Gloria, like, how can you not tell this clown is not the good clown that everyone knows? Like, if I were to look at this clown, if I were driving down a road and I'd see this clown, I would speed ahead from him because I'm terrified of him. Okay, I am. There's a reason why my lights are on right now. Well, not only because I'm reviewing this for you guys, but I might not be able to sleep with my lights off after this episode. There's a specific scene, which I'll talk about. Not only this whole episode, though, I gotta say, John Carroll Lynch is doing a great job as Twisty. Great job. He's not even talking, and he's doing just such a great job. So, Danny returns home, and Gloria shows him his new surprise. Oh, wait, no. This is the next scene. So Danny visits Jimmy, because of course he wanted to be a performer, and the moment he said that, I'm like, okay, he's going to join the freak show. He wants to join the show, but Jimmy says that he wouldn't last one day here because he's not a freak. However, in my opinion, because of the time period he is, And I feel his freak, or shall I say cliche, or difference is that he's a homosexual. And, you know, I think he just hasn't come to terms with that yet, in my opinion. I'm looking forward to seeing if he does, because just the way he acts, the way he overreacts over things, I'm not stereotyping him. I'm just saying by the way he acts, and because the show's about freaks, and because he wants to be with the freaks and he thinks of himself as a freak, I think that's why. I think he hasn't accepted the fact that he is, gay, and he thinks it's wrong, and he doesn't, he's not happy about it. And literally, he stomps out like a child. He smashes his head against the steering wheel. He's literally like screaming, and I was like the guy that plays Danny is an amazing actor. After this episode, Danny might be definitely my top 5 favorite characters. He's a great character in my opinion. I'm loving his character. I think he's fantastic and just great character. I loved his character definitely. So Danny returns home and Gloria shows him his new surprise. He wants nothing to do with her. He's like, I don't want to talk to you, mother. And it's meant to cheer him up, and she leads him into a room, and there's Twisty. And you can see this look in his face like, what the fuck, Mom? But of course, Dandy is desperate. He just wants someone to cheer him up, and he thinks maybe since he's a clown, since he knows how to perform, and, knows what he's doing, maybe he can help him. That kind of makes sense. And I thought that was interesting. I thought that was definitely an interesting twist. It makes sense. So then Ethel visits Dell in his trailer. And she says that she doesn't want him anywhere. And I thought this was a very interesting twist because, of course, we know that she wanted nothing to do with him. We know that she completely detested him. She said, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want anything to do with you. And we find out why. Basically, he is Jimmy's father. And I thought that was an awesome twist. And it's not just that. When Jimmy was young, Dell almost strangled Jimmy to death because of his deformity. And because of this, that's why Ethel wants her nowhere near Jimmy. So I think that's really cool. I thought that was an awesome twist, and I was really looking forward to seeing where that goes because I think that's a really awesome twist in my opinion. Definitely, I think that's an awesome twist. So I was really looking forward to that, and just wow, like they have so many good twists in the show, and I love that about the show is how many good twists they can throw at you. They throw at you a million twists, and they're all so good. And this one was so good in my opinion. So the crew, meanwhile, and I was really looking forward to this next scene because we saw in the promo. This was actually the scene I was looking forward to the most, just because I'm into singing and theater and things like that. The crew is trying to teach Bet how to sing. However, she's tone deaf, completely tone deaf. She can't sing. And that was surprising because Bet's the one that's into, acting. And basically, after a few tries, Jimmy says, why don't we give Dot a try? And it turns out, to everyone's surprise, she's amazing. Like, she is really good. And I don't know if Sarah Paulson can actually sing, but damn, like, she is amazing. And I gotta say, the song she sang, Dream a Little Dream of Me, I love that song. And I really hope they put her song on iTunes because I thought it was definitely very well done. And Elsa is looking on horror because at first Elsa basically says, look, they have two heads, who cares if they have talent? And the thing with Elsa is that, again, she doesn't care what kind of talent her freaks have. She doesn't care about that. What she cares about is herself. She wants to perform, if you remember. That's all she's ever wanted, because at the end of last week's episode, we found out this is all she's ever wanted. All she's ever wanted is to perform and for people to like her and for people to think of her as, a good performer. That's all she's wanted. So now she has someone who's actually going to get her tickets, and she's horrified of this. And, as you can see that definitely she's very jealous, and I'm like, okay, what is she gonna do? Because Elsa definitely is a character that is very motherly. I will say she definitely is very motherly. She's very nurturing. She's not Fiona. I will say that she's not Fiona. She's nothing like Fiona. She's a lot more nice, I'd say, but nice in a way that's, like, creepy. I agree with what people have said. Like, she is creepy, definitely. But, like, she's creepy in a way, but, like, to me, I don't find her that creepy because I sympathize with her character. Like, I know why she's doing what she's doing. So, I thought that was definitely very interesting, and I was looking forward to seeing what's going to happen there. So then Dell comes in and says that everyone will be putting on a matinee. And Elsa doesn't really like this plan because she wants it to be at night because she feels that, and I agree with her, matinee are for kid shows and for, things that aren't really, that are more like just cheap stuff. The adult stuff happens at night. But Dell grows an attitude and stomps off into town. He says they will be paying their asses in these seats, and basically she has no choice but to agree with him. So I really like Dell's character at this point. I thought his character was really cool because he definitely is a major threat for everyone, for Jimmy, for Elsa, for pretty much everyone. I love his character definitely because of that. And for this being Michael Chiklis' first season, perfect, because he's playing a great character, a very memorable character. And I love that. He fits perfectly on the show, definitely. I was actually wondering how his character was going to be because Michael Chiklis has never been on American Horror Story before, and he's doing a great job. Originally, I believe he was supposed to be the main character of the show, but, like, that's not happening, obviously. Elsa's the main character. Come on, people. So Dandy and Twisty are having their little play session, and Dandy is performing a scene from The King and I, which I love that scene. I love the scene he was performing. I thought that was just such a great scene. And he finds Twisty to be very curious. He directs him to a toy box and asks him to find a new toy to play with. And as he's looking into the toy chest, Dandy looks into Twisty's bag and he sees the horror inside, what is probably a severed head. That's why he freaked out about. So Twisty notices what Danny was doing and smacks him in the head with a bowling pin. What I like though is that Twisty didn't just do this for nothing. He did it because I feel Twisty definitely has something there he wants to cover up. Definitely. And I like what I like about this character, definitely is that Twisty's character is very mysterious. We don't know why he's doing this, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what his motive is. I don't think it's going to be for a while, but I'm still looking forward to seeing what it's going to be. So, then we get a really awesome scene. The crew goes into a diner for a meal, and they're not greeted warmly. Basically, Jimmy's there, and he sees that girl. I don't remember her name, but remember that, that girl that Jimmy had that, sex business with? He sees her again, and he says, basically, that they're all going to eat their food. And I like what Jimmy says. They're real people. Let them eat. I agree. They're real people. They're not monsters. They are actual people. Even though they have these deformities, they are real people. So I thought that was definitely very well done. So Jimmy puts up a fight, and Dell isn't having it. He drags Jimmy out to the diner's front, where he proceeds to beat him up. So clearly he's not going to listen to Ethel. It's clear here. And I like about Dell is that he has his own agenda. Definitely Dell is definitely one of my favorite characters. I think he's awesome. So then we see that those two, that mother and child that's being held captive by Twisty, they seem to be making a plan to, run for it. However, Dandy has followed Twisty back to a secret lair in the woods. And, Danny doesn't really realize what Twisty's doing. However, Danny seems to sympathize with Twisty. And this next scene, I actually sympathize with Twisty, and I'm going to talk about why. Because Twisty opens this cage holding the children and enters, and he presents a small box with a robot toy, and all he's doing is just dancing, sort of just being a clown. And he gets no reaction whatsoever. So he shows him the severed head. And I kind of am thinking something here. I think the reason that Twisty is doing this is because he loves being a clown, and that's his profession, and he's obsessed with it to the point where if he doesn't get any laughs and anything, no one finds it funny, he's not happy about it, so he's killing people because of it. And that's why he's killing people, because he feels that if he doesn't kill these people, then, because he wants to make them laugh and no one finds it funny, so that's why he's killing people, because no one finds it funny, so he's just killing people to make them feel sorry because he feels sorry for himself. So I kind of feel like I know what's going to happen here. I feel like Dandy is going to recruit Twisty to the Freaks because we know that Twisty is going to go after the Freaks at some point. So the girl whacked Twisty with a nail board she made, and then Twisty's mask falls off, and that was terrifying. We see this lower jaw missing. It was, gruesome stuff there. Gruesome stuff. I don't want to talk about it, but it was brutal. Really brutal, guys. I gotta say, that was amazingly done, but I almost thought we were going to see his face. I almost thought we were going to see what his entire face was, and obviously he's not going to take off his mask yet. We're 2 episodes in. He's not going to take it off yet. I do feel they are going to show more and more as the season goes on, though. So, the girl makes a run for it, and she runs into Dandy. And of course, Dandy is completely clueless about what Twisty's actually doing. He says, we'll get to the bottom of it. He grabs the girl, returns her to Twisty, and who managed to capture the small boy. And Dandy says we're going to have to do a much better job in containment if we're going to have any fun. So that was really creepy, and that's the last scene we see of Twisty and Dandy for the rest of the episode. So again, I really feel like Dandy's going to try to recruit Twisty to the Freaks because he kind of feels for Twisty. Because just like Dandy, Twisty kind of just wants to make people laugh, and Dandy just wants to perform. So I like that definitely about Twisty, that I feel for his character now, I really do. So Jimmy then returns to the show and he has words with Elsa. And she says it might be good to have Del around, but he's not happy about it. He wants Del gone. And he reveals that he can fill this position. He reveals that he killed, and I like that he told her this. He reveals that he was the one that killed the detective who came to take away the twins. And Elsa says that she may have underestimated him. And basically, she's happy that he did this because they're a family. They stick together. And I like that Elsa is happy. I like that she's not upset because, again, they're a family and families stick together. So I definitely like that. So Jimmy reveals that Del placed Elsa's number on the bottom of the playbill, and Elsa's not going to have this because, again, Elsa's the star here. She wants to be the star. And that's her last straw, and she says he's got to go, and she is pissed that he is doing this. She's pissed. So it's time for the show to go on, and basically, Danny's the host. We see this really adorable little kid Meep do this, like, really weird routine, and there's a full audience there, and Dot sings her song, and Bet does backup vocals. I love the song that she sings. I know a lot of people are complaining about the music, like the music is too contemporary. What I like is that that is what it would sound like now. I like that definitely. I don't have a problem with the music because it's American Horror Story. It's out there. It's not reality. It's supposed to be weird. It's supposed to be different, and I like that. You know, it kind of reminds me of when people complain about The Great Gatsby, that the music was too modern. It works, though, in my opinion. Great Gatsby, it didn't work, but it definitely does work, and I like that. So, the audience ends up loving it. There's, like, a crowd surfing going on. Like, they just love it. However, Elsa is just so jealous. She is so upset. She sees the crowds react with such excitement, and she's really upset because she, unfortunately, never got that same reaction. It's really sad. So, then we get the last scene of the episode, and I thought the last scene was just so awesome and so intensely done. Detectives show up at the freak show. They said they've received an anonymous tip, and they've come with a warrant. And they say they have to search Dell's trailer. And Jimmy tried to set up Dale, and I thought this was a really awesome twist. Jimmy tried to set up Dale by placing the badge in his trailer so he can basically get Dell and put him in jail because he doesn't want Dell there. But Dell caught on. So instead, he put the badge in another person's tent. Meeps. This little thing. He put this little thing in danger. Like, Dell is really just a bad guy here. Jimmy's not a bad guy. Jimmy will protect his family. He is. He's the kind of guy who will protect his family and do whatever he can to protect them, and I really like that about Jimmy's character. Now, Meep, basically, he's a little character. He's a little midget, basically. He bites off the heads of live animals. They take him away. They throw him into the jail, and basically, he's with these two other big guys. And what I love about this character is that this is a character that we haven't seen at all till now, and we sympathize with him, even though all he says is just meep. That's the only word he says. All he says is just meep, 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 meep. But it's so well done because you can see how scared he is. You can see the kind of freak he is. I mean, he's adorable. Like, really, this is an adorable little midget, basically. I can't figure out who's more adorable, him or Ma Petite. So then Elsa comes in to talk with Bet, and she's trying to brainwash her into thinking that she's the real star because she wants Dot gone. She doesn't want Dot to be there because Dot's the star here. So she wants Bet to think she's the one with the real talent and the one with the pure soul. And this was definitely very interesting because Elsa's basically trying to make her think that, hey, you're more talented than Dot is. So she clearly wants Dot out of this, out of the picture, because she's got loads of talent. And before Elsa leaves, she calls Bet an angel and places a small object, perhaps a small knife, between her pillow. So what I'm thinking is that she did this because Bet's going to try to kill Dot, because we know before that Dot tried to kill Bet. So I'm wondering if maybe Dot's going to try to kill Bet or what's going to happen there. I guess we'll just have to see. But I'm looking forward to definitely seeing what's going to happen because I think it's going to be very interesting. And I thought that was a really great way to end it. However, that's not the end of the episode. The end of the episode was amazing. I love the way the episode ended. We see Jimmy drinking his pains away, and he confesses to his mother that he needs to talk to them to tell the police everything. He's about to tell them what happened. He leaves the tent, but a car throws out, and they killed Meep. And Jimmy breaks down. He's so upset, and I'm upset, disturbed, and perfect way to end the episode. What an awesome, perfect episode. This is the reason why I don't like Sons of Anarchy as much anymore, guys, because this show is just perfect. Everything about the show is absolutely perfect, and I'm loving everything about it. and I'm so into this show. I really am. There's nothing wrong with it at all. I love the characters of Dell. I love the character of even though Desiree really doesn't have much to do, but I definitely feel she is going to get more to do. Ethel had a lot more to do in this episode, definitely, which I really liked. There are a few things to talk about. First of all, Twisty. I really do sympathize for the guy. I really do. Not Twisty, the man under Twisty. And I think Twisty just really loves the idea of being a clown and no one laughs, and that's why he's killing people, because no one laughs about it. And I really feel it's like Dexter, where he's kind of like addicted to killing, and he can't stop because he does not seem like he's really happy killing. He seems like he wants to stop, but he's not. So I'm wondering why. I think that definitely is very interesting. Um, Elsa trying to kill Bet, I think, Elsa trying to brainwash Bet, I think is definitely very interesting. I'm wondering if Bet's going to try to kill Dot because, Dot's the talented one and Betty, is not as talented. Betty, Bet, whatever you want to call her. I still know all the names yet, sorry guys. But, Killing Meep was so sad to watch. Jimmy is definitely going to get revenge on Dell for this. I'm really looking forward to seeing a Jimmy and Dell brawl. I love the tension between them. I love that going on. I love the singing in this show as well. I love that there's so much singing going on. I really do love that. I think that's awesome. Um, Next week's episode looks fucked up. It really does. It's the Halloween episode, so what do you expect? Halloween episodes are always crazy. Always crazy. It's a part 1, part 2, obviously, because they always do part 1, part 2. And it looks completely crazy. It looks completely awesome. Emma Roberts' character is going to be introduced. I think, what's his name? The guy that's usually on the show. Oh god, I can't think of his name right now. But the guy that played, you guys know who I'm talking about. The guy that played, oh my god. He's going to play the Talent Scout. I can't remember his name right now. I'm trying to think. What the hell's his name? Sorry guys, I can't think of his name right now. I'm losing. Dennis O'Hare. Dennis O'Hare's character is going to be introduced. Do you guys sympathize with Dandy? I personally do sympathize with Dandy. I think Dandy is a character that I definitely do sympathize with. I feel for him. I think his character is definitely going to be very interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing what else his character does. And I definitely feel like Dandy, he truly does not, he can't tell what Twisty really is, and I think that definitely is very interesting. So that's basically for my review. Let me know what you guys saw this episode. I know this review is very long, but guys, I'm going to say right now, this show is my favorite show on TV right now. I know it is only a second episode, but this show is just so awesome. I'm loving everything about it. It's getting so much better, and this just blows Coven out of the water. Forget Coven. Forget Coven ever existed because this show is so much better. But that's it, my review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys saw this episode, and I'll see you guys in my next video, which will be for my review of either a horror movie, because I do want to watch one tomorrow, or for my review of The Vampire Diaries. So I'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.